Certainty of death? Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. We had to delay it slightly from yesterday because of people forgot it was Mother's Day and they had plans.
Bad
but
time.
Yeah.
we've got Wolfman
We're
here.
all mama boys here, so
but we've got Wolfman here. Wolf, how's it going?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. I am definitely a fan of Florence Pugh. She's been a celebrity crush of mine for a while now. She's also just one of the best actresses working in Hollywood today. So I'm really excited to discuss all of her filmography work here, or at least most of her filmography work here. She's got some really great films, some more underseen kind of appreciated gems, and I'm excited to deep dive into her filmography.
And we've also got Richie here. Richie, how's it going?
Going good. Yeah, going good. So talk about Florence Pugh, one of the best, best young actresses working today. Do you want to hear a stupid dad joke related to that? I'm going to tell it. What do you call Florence Pugh holding a laser gun?
I don't know.
Florence Pew Pew Pew. Anyway, I'm here all week. Anyway, cool. Yeah, you can catch me at the Chuckle Hut.
It'll be here all week, folks.
But with that, how Rankin works is we each go around and nominate a movie you think belongs on a top 12 list, and then everyone else will say yes or no to it, and then at the end we'll rank the 12 movies that make our short list. With that, we're going to go to Wolfman first. Wolf, what's your first movie you're going to bring up?
So I don't know if you two knew this or not, but we live in time. And also, there is another movie called We Live in Time that just so happens to star Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. I want to kind of throw films like this first because there's going to be the big obvious ones that will be discussed. But I want to kind of show some love to some of these other more smaller, more appreciative ones. And this was a really heart-wrenching romance movie with amazing performances from both Florence Pugh and Andrew Garfield. And when I saw it, I saw it like opening night. It was like that Thursday night because I was like, well, what's playing? I'm like bored. I'm getting off work. What's playing? And I was like, oh, We Live in Time. I'll go see this. And then there was it was filled with either single girls or them and their boyfriends, and it was packed. I mean, almost every seat full. And there was the scene of there's a scene where Andrew Garfield gets shirtless, and you could literally hear some of the women in the audience going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And they were like howling. Like it was like, "Oh my gosh!"
You did that too, didn't you? You were like, yeah.
Maybe. But and then once the ending, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but once the ending happens, there was some of those girls who were mad. They were like, "What?" It was like screaming audibly. It was like really, they made the theater experience more fun. But yeah, this is a really profound movie about a cancer diagnosis that happens, and and she falls in love with the person who she ran over with her car. But it's a really interesting dynamic between them, and just to see how she goes about her cancer recovery. And This had potential to be very melodramatic and a lot like Fault in Our Stars and that kind of bull, but this is actually really good. So We Live in Time. That's my opinion.
Richie, what do you say about We Live in Time?
So what you're saying is, Wolf, instead of me going on Tinder or Bumble, what I should do is just go out in the middle of the street and, hoping that some hot chick is just gonna, run me over, but not like run me over like too bad that I, have critical injuries or anything like that. But yeah, and then we make a connection, and then yeah, and that'll save me time.
Exactly. Why have dating apps when you could just, when it could
Get
just
run
be
over. I don't know. Just, I am going to disappoint you though because I haven't seen this yet. It's on my list. It's on my list to see. I really want to. It's one of those things where I'm like, it came out here a bit later on here. So I think it came out here like early this year. To be honest, it's either
Yeah.
early this year. Yeah. So yeah, it sort of came out with a bunch of other stuff. So I was like, I missed it. I'm like, I'll catch it later. And then yeah, I was like, people love Yucky, but yeah, no, I'm sure it is good. I like both of the people, but yeah, I'll have to abstain and I will leave it up to Malcolm.
Yeah, I did watch it for this, and yeah, it's really good. It took me a while to sort of get used to the fact it wasn't in linear form, because it did throw me a little bit. But it's like once I sort of got over that, it's like it's actually a pretty good story. Just trying to piece it all together in my head of which order the events went in. Then and yeah, it was pretty good. So it's going to be a yes for me. So We Live in Time is going to make the list.
awesome.
Richie, what is the first one you're going to bring up?
You know what? Let's just start off with the recently, but I think we've all seen it now. I'll go with Thunderbolts or New Avengers or whatever the fuck. I'll just say Thunderbolt. uh,
Spoiler! That's okay.
yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the monk. If I'm being honest, like, I don't know, just Thunderbolts. Yeah, uh, yeah, yeah. Like no, I think obviously the MCU's sort of been on a rough track for the last few years. And then I thought they were gonna course correct with Captain America: Brand New World thing. But I think if you kind of pay attention to all the production, it was looking less likely that was going to happen. And yeah, watched the movie and it was not the greatest. And but yeah, this one kind of felt like more fun again. I was like, okay, this is kind of this is sort of I sort of like there's slight issues with it, but it was sort of getting back on the right track. And yeah, I think in large part due to I think Florence Pugh plays a good lead. I think she's showed like good comedic timing. She's a great badass. And yeah, she plays off well with especially David Harbour. And yeah, I don't know. I really quite enjoyed it, and I think to have sort of some variety performance here. I think should have Thunderbolts up there. I don't know where if it'll rank that highly when we come to rank these, but I don't know. I think it should be at least on here. So Thunderbolts with asterisks.
Yeah, it's funny watching like a lot of things of the MCU lately. It seems to be going alternating things like MCU's dead, MCU's back, it's dead, it's back. It's like which kind of make me worried for Fantastic Four if it's not good. But anyway, but yeah, when it comes to Thunderbolts, yeah, no, I thought it was a really good movie. And yeah, it's one of those ones that I think it does a good it's one of those ones that I think it does a good job of dealing with mental illness as well as and trauma and all that. And I think it just and it just really worked on that level. And I believe the director of this is tapped to be doing the X-Men movie for the
Well, he's
MCU
in
as
talks for
well.
it. Yeah, he's in talks.
Yeah, so it's obvious that like they think he's done something right doing a team up movie if they're trying to get him for that as well. But yeah, I think it's good and it's definitely a yes for me. So Wolf, what do you say about Thunderbolts?
Yeah, Thunderbolts, I thought was definitely utterly just fantastic. And yeah, I think that there's so much, I agree, there's so much back and forth because let's not forget, like people were, when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came out, people were all like, oh yes, it's finally back. The MCU is finally back. And then there was like some other dud in between. I forget what it was. And they were like, oh no, it's dead. And then Deadpool Wolverine comes out and they're like, oh, the MCU is back, baby. Everyone, oh, the MCU is back. And then it's like, then Brave New World comes out and they're just like, oh no, the MCU's dead. And it's like, guys, it's not, I don't think it's ever been dead. Like, they just want to keep on throwing shit out there. I don't think it's ever been dead. Like, yeah, you're going to have bumps in the road. But this proves that this Deadpool Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, all this proves it's not dead. There's still life in it. It's just, it's not going to be perfect. And Thunderbolts, though, is one of the biggest highlights in a messy phase. I will say that. And this was such a beautiful and profound movie about mental illness. Like this was one of the first Marvel movies probably since Avengers Endgame that I did tear up in. This was really, or no, since Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So not that long ago, but still had me in the emotional kind of weight and of it all, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. And her performance as Yelena is one of the best performances in the MCU. I thought Red Guardian was great, and it has one of my favorite lines in the MCU, and it's the line where he says, "You remember what you'd always told me when you were a kid, like when you were when you wanted to be a goalie," and she was like, "Just so I didn't have to, be with all the other players." Like, well, that, but also so you could have everyone else's back when they knew they messed up or something like that. And it was like, and it was like a really beautiful line that he shares with his daughter, and I thought it was just so good. So yeah, Thunderbolts is a definite yes for me.
And that Thunderbolts is going to make the list. It comes down to me. I'm I'm going to go for this one. Just because I'm curious about where this is going to go. But I don't think it's going to end up that high on the list if it does make it. But look, I'm one of the few people that really did not hate "Don't Worry, Darling." Like, it's for what it was. I think, I thought it was enjoyable, and I enjoyed it, and I think, like, it wasn't as bad as what even made it out to be. Because I think the performances from Florence, from Harry Styles, I think, and all that, I think was good, and like I think it was even like well directed by Olivia Wilde as well. And yeah, so go throw this out. Let's see what happens. But Wolf, what do you say about "Don't Worry, Darling"?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I also don't hate it. It was one of my most anticipated movies of that year when it was initially coming out because Olivia Wilde, who directed it, directed Booksmart. And that was one of my favorite movies of that year. And so when I saw Don't Worry, Darling, sure, was not as good as Booksmart, sure, but they're definitely different kinds of movies. And I think that there was still so much intrigue and mystery in there that I still was invested throughout. And I thought, surprisingly, Harry Styles did a really good job. And I thought, Florence Pugh, of course, was excellent in the film. So just because she doesn't have a lot of films in her filmography, and I'm sure some of the lesser ones or some of the smaller ones, I don't know if all of us have seen, I am willing to say yes to this one for now.
Richie, what do you say about "Don't Worry, Darling"?
I've only got a couple of blind spots in her filmography, and you've already pulled out two of them. So this is another one where I'm like, I need to get around to it because all of it can't, all I know is like the controversy around it with that Shia LaBeouf and all that kind of thing. So yeah, and so yeah, yeah, I need to get around to it. Have an opinion, but I will get around to it. It is at my local library, so I should probably rent it if I want to. But it's probably on streaming as well. But I like physical media though. So yeah, but yeah, well, I mean, it's cool it's making it. I'm sure I'll probably, I usually give it. Yeah, I'm sure it's probably. I trust your guys' opinion.
Yeah. But that Don't Worry Darling is going to make the list, and we go back to Wolf. Wolf, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
So the next movie I want to bring up is one that I have been advocating for hugely when it would appear on tournament fights. And I want to say this right now. I've been advocating for it, but I also was the biggest shit talker of this movie that I know. When they first announced it, when they were first showing trailers, I said, this movie is going to be stupid. It's for kids. This is ridiculous. The first one wasn't even that good. Why are they doing a sequel? And that is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This was absolutely one of the biggest surprises of that year for me. Maybe the biggest surprise of that year for me, which was 2022, because I went in again very low to no expectations, and I was not expecting it to be that great. This blew me away. The animation style was beautiful. The kind of themes about how much our own life is worth and how we should live life to the fullest and not take life for granted was really beautiful. And just every voice acting performance is fantastic, from Salma Hayek, Harvey Gulen, Florence Pugh, Olivia Colman. All of them, they all did an excellent job. And the villain, the big bad wolf villain, was menacing and terrifying. Yeah, I thought this was actually a really, really fantastic animated film. And I mean, and I know it was a strong year for animation, but I could also argue that maybe it could have or should have possibly even won that category that year. It was a phenomenal film. So, yeah, I'd say definitely yes.
Richie, what do you say about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish?
Yeah, I did watch this recently. And yeah, it's definitely a step up from like I was. Yeah, like Puss in Boots is the first one, just fine. It's a movie. It's fine. But yeah, the last word she didn't. I'm like, wow, look at yeah, this stepped its game up. So yeah, and it's amazing. I think she's great. Yeah, and I guess to get some variety, have some animation and great voice performances. So yeah, I'd say yes.
Yeah. I quite enjoyed Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But yeah, I think it's a really good movie. And yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, honestly, but I definitely will go back to it. But just because it was just slightly outside my top 12, I would have said no, but it's going to make the list regardless of that. Richie, we come back to you. What is your next nomination?
All right, gonna go. I'm gonna go, and because I'm a wrestling guy, I'm gonna go Fighting with My Family. 'Cause, yeah, I think it's quite a unique biopic, and I thought it was. I not that I was perplexed when it was announced, but I was surprised because you don't usually see biopics of like like wrestlers. One is still actively wrestling, but also a wrestler who was at the time still in the 20s. She's still young now. She's like 30, only 30, like 30, 31, 32. So yeah. And then a lot's happened to her since then that you could probably do another biopic of her. But yeah, like this is yeah, it's just I think she yeah, I think I could argue like this is when I first started really paying attention to Florence Pugh, and I think she really kind of personifies Paige quite well. The the cast characters playing the family is great. Nick Frost is great, and yeah, I think Stephen Merchant did a great job directing here, and I think yeah, I wish he'd do more and direct more films. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really good. Vince Vaughn is good as one of the trainers. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, fighting my family. Good on that. Good. The Rock's a controversial figure these days in some ways, but I'm glad he got this off the ground. So yeah,
Yeah, this is one that was definitely interesting. That because I just like Richie, I thought this is interesting. Like that they're doing a biopic about her this early. But I think it was definitely good, and this is definitely where most people sort of realized who Florence Pugh actually was. Like this is the one where most people kind of knew her right from, and yeah, and I think she was definitely great playing playing Paige, and yeah, and even like a lot of the rest of the cameos that sort of popped up. Is I'm pretty sure it was Zelina Vega that played
Selena
Paige. I
Vega
believe was
played her. Yeah,
yeah,
when yeah, I think the person she pinned was a wrestler too. I can't remember who it was.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, Selena Vega played AJ. Did Selena Vega? She AJ Lee. Yeah, she was AJ Lee. Yeah.
yeah. I want to say that it was. I
Yeah, yeah, she was. Yeah, um, yeah, no, it was, yeah, great. There was even
yeah.
there's a chicken, there's a side character in there called Jerry Lynn, which has to be a rib because there's a wrestler called Jerry Lynn. I don't know.
Yeah,
It just, yeah,
but yeah. So I think it was really good, and yeah, it's definitely a yes for me. Wolf, what do you say about fighting with my family?
Yeah, talk about surprises. This was probably one of, if not the biggest surprise of 2019 for me because WWE Studios making a good movie. What?
yeah,
What is this?
yeah,
I'm, I the same people who gave me the See No Evil movies, the Marine movies, the um the what was it, the John Cena ones? I forget the names of those.
The
12 rounds.
Marine.
I know, yeah, 12 rounds. Like that's the studio that's giving me this, and then it wound up being really good and actually really heartfelt and emotional, and yeah, this was several people's introduction to Florence Pugh. I was introduced to her before this movie, but this was really where she broke out and became a huge star. And the whole cast is great. Lena Headey, Nick Frost, Vince Vaughn is really good in his role there, and then um, Dwayne Johnson's fun in his cameo that he has. So yeah, I think the whole cast crew work really well off each other. And as someone who is passionate about behind the scenes of wrestling, but also kind of has wanted to train to become a wrestler in the past before, this is something that I actually kind of connected with and vibed with because I was able to see what the process is like to actually get to that stage. And yeah, and I think it was just a really fascinating and unique kind of biopic. So it's definitely a yes from me.
That fighting with my family is going to
I
make the
think
list.
that might be, is that our first? No, that's not our first
Yeah,
unanimous.
I think Thunderbolts was unanimous as
Yeah,
well.
that was our first.
Um, with that, I'm gonna go for one of the big ones now. And I'm bring up Midsummer. Like um, but same year as Five for Family. And yeah, like in 1 year, like Florence Pugh showed her range like really quickly, like going from a biopic like Five for Family and then you're seeing this like horror movie where it's like where you see a different side of her acting and that and yeah, and Midsommar is well, yeah, it is a long movie, and I think the director's cuts even longer, but it's a really good movie as well. But it's just really suspenseful, and just from the like opening few scenes and stuff, it's just one of those ones where like you don't know where it's going to go, and yeah, and I think, and just the iconic image of her in the like big flowery dress outfit thing, I think that from the poster is just one of those ones where um it's definitely interesting to see, and I can't wait to see where Ari Aster goes next. But Wolf, what do you say about Midsummer?
Yeah, he's switching up things, going outside of horror and doing like a political satire next, which sounds interesting. So I'm going to be curious to see what he does with that. But yeah, Midsommar, absolutely brilliant film. Maybe my favorite Ari Aster film. I know I'm in the minority there, but this is just an exceptional film for me, and I own the uh, the director's cut that they sold there from A24, which is really cool, and on a 4K. I I love this. I love this thing. It has like artwork on the front and the back when you open it. It's like really cool. But this was uh just man, this was absolutely one of the best horror movies of the 2010s for sure. And I think that just Florence Pugh's performance, she has a crying scene in here that is on the same level of Toni Collette in Hereditary, like that kind of crying. Like you can feel the loss, you can feel the pain. Like when we're talking about performance wise, this is definitely the best performance Florence Pugh has given in her career, in my opinion. Like she's exceptional in this, and yeah, the flower suit is awesome. So many people were dressing up as her for Halloween. She even dressed up as herself for Halloween for Midsommar one time, and she like posted it on social media and such, and it was really fun. But yeah, thematically, this film is really rich in depth with what it has to talk about. So I think that this is really interesting and a film that Ari Aster actually does not consider a horror movie. He says this is a comedy. So kind of interesting. So, but okay, have a dark sense of humor. I see, but yeah, uh, it's a definite yes for me.
Richie, what do you say about Midsummer?
Yeah, I mean, if you can do a Florence Pugh list, you have to have this on here. I think it's yeah, I think it's a great movie, and it's sort of her, best performance. Yeah, I mean, as a movie, I think I prefer Hereditary slightly more, but like, yeah, you can't discredit like, especially like Wolfman mentioned the crying scene is again fantastic, and yeah, I think she showed why she's one of the best actresses working today. So yeah, I would say definitely. Yeah.
That Midsummer is going to make the list, and we go back to Wolf. Wolf, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Well, I'm named after it, so let's do a good person. I feel like being a good person and talking
I was
about
like,
this good movie. So,
I was like,
uh,
she was she in Wolfman? I don't remember her being in Wolfman.
yeah, yeah, she was a good wolf. It was a post credit scene. You had to stay through that. Yeah. Um, but I think that this was a really charming, emotional movie about this kind of alcoholic who's struggling and trying to recover. And this was something that really spoke personally to me, but also just had a really good cast of characters in there. You had Morgan Freeman in there, who was exceptional, who also was really good in the film. And I thought the script was really well done. And Zach Braff directs it, who did Garden State, and Garden State was an excellent film as well. So yeah, Florence Pugh, um, delivered an amazing performance here, and I just think that this is definitely one of her more underappreciated kind of films to come out, because I don't hear enough people talk about this, and it's actually really good. And it's not just a good person; it's a good movie. So that's
Richie, what do you say about a good person?
Yeah, I saw this recently too. Coming into the film, I was a bit skeptical, even though, like, obviously Florence Pugh's great. It's just that I'm hit or miss on Zach Braff's director films. Like, Garden State's great, but like, wasn't a huge fan of Wish You Were Here or whatever it's called. The one he funded on Indiegogo. But yeah, so I was like, but we'll give it a go. But yeah, like, I think Florence Pugh sort of makes the movie. I think she's perfectly cast here. Yeah, there's that sort of that. I think her performance is quite, very, very raw and very, yeah, like I think it deals with the subject of grief very well. And yeah, I think she's, yeah, again, I think it's just her performance is like, yeah, also very layered, very nuanced. And then, yeah, I think, yeah, she becomes a very, I think she immerses herself in the character. She's really just very, just yeah, just captivating to watch, but then like yeah, and then yeah, and sort of like yeah, while it is sort of can be hard to watch at times, but yeah, you don't want to like you're mesmerized by her performance because she's really good. So yeah, I'd have to say yes to a good person.
Um, yeah, I saw this early in the year. Was either early in the year or late last year. But um, I ran. It was one of the. It's a movie that I started to. I'm just going to blind buy this movie because why not? um, and and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I think Florence Pugh is good in it, and it's definitely one like that definitely um shows that she's definitely good when it comes to these movies about heavy subject matter as well. In a way, so yeah, it's going to be yes for me for good person as well. So it's going to be
between Midsommar, this Thunderbolts, like, damn, do you need therapy, girl? Like, is that what you're trying to?
I,
Is that what you're?
Another one I'm going to bring up. Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to tell us? Like, jeez.
um, but if that a good person is going to make the list. Richie, what is the next movie you're going to bring up?
Sounds like Florence Pugh maybe need to visit herself in Oppenheimer, which is what I'm going to bring up because she plays Jean. She's not in it very long, but she's Jean Tatlock, and yeah, it's brief performance, but like it's very central to Oppenheimer's character. She's a very important character. It's, it portrays a very sort of complex relationship that he has with Oppenheimer. And then, he cheats on her, but yeah, and she's a psychiatrist, but obviously dealing with her own sort of mental health issues. But yeah, she it's very again, it's very new. Like I think she balances that like sort of nuanced performance, and it's very yeah, she's sort of very enigmatic, very charismatic on screen, and like yeah, while I think she makes the most of her screen time, given the yeah. Given the amount of time she has on screen. Yeah, and I think it's memorable, not just because in most markets she's naked. I say most markets because sometimes she's, but but no, I think she's just. I think it's a very memorable performance. Yeah, given that it's and you forget that it's quite so she's not in it for very long at all. But yeah, she leaves an impact. So yeah, Oppenheimer.
Um, yeah, she definitely makes the most of her screen time. Not and yeah, but it's but I think she was great in Oppenheimer. And yeah, like well, yeah, she's not in the movie a lot. I think she's still good in it. And And it's one of those ones like in a throughout movie, I think she actually has more screen time than what you may think. I know a lot of people would like, oh, it's only a short time, but I think she's got in a good chunk of the movie as well. But yeah, I mean, I think she was good in it. There's not much more to say that Richie hasn't said. But Wolf, what do you say about Oppenheimer?
Yeah, all I gotta say is Florence boobs. That's what I'm gonna say. Because you get to see some Florence boobies in there, and I definitely like that. But I also liked her performance a lot in here. I thought the movie itself is masterful and just an exceptional film from Christopher Nolan. Kind of what maybe some people say his magnum opus. Um, and I can see why. But yeah, she definitely plays a pivotal part. She literally is even the first person to say in the film, Oppenheimer, the destroyer of worlds, you know. And so she definitely plays a big part. And yeah, while the one scene is kind of awkward in the in the interrogation room when you see her just starting to ride him randomly and you're just like, oh, okay. Oh, that's kind of something there. I think thematically that scene is, even though the execution was weird, I think thematically it works really well. And I think that that overall, yeah, her performance was really solid. So I'll say yes to Oppenheimer.
That Oppenheimer is going to make the list. Yeah. Can't remember all. It'll be me. That's what I am. I'm going to bring up this one. Because I think people kill us if this one didn't make the list, but it's 2019's Little Women. Like I think like the third of Florence Pugh's 2019 trilogy is what I call it. But weird way to put it. But anyway, yeah, no, like this was the one she was nominated for, and I think she was definitely good in this. I can't remember. I don't think I can't remember which of the family each person played, but it's like just because I can't remember their DNA at the town party anyway. But I remember I really love the movie, and I do think it's good. So see where this goes. Wolf, what do you say about Little Women?
Yeah, well, not my favorite Little Women adaptation. That is still the 1994 Little Women. That is, to me, perfect. I still do think the 2019 version is exceptional. Saw in theaters, thought it was really excellent. Saoirse Ronan's great. Emma Watson was excellent here. Yeah, but Florence Pugh was definitely the standout, and there's a reason why she got her Oscar nomination, and she was deserving for it. Honestly, and don't get me wrong, Marriage Story was to me maybe the best movie of that year. So I'm not knocking Marriage Story, but Laura Dern, she was fine in that movie. But the Oscar should have gone to either Florence Pugh for Little Women or Scarlett Johansson for Jojo Rabbit. If in my opinion, um, I would have been okay with Florence Pugh taking it because she was really great as Mary Lou, and yeah, I think you know, um, it's just while it doesn't feel as warm and as fuzzy as like the 1994 version, I think Greta Gerwig really puts her craft behind it, and so I really admire the film for that. So it's definitely a yes for me.
And Richie, what do you say about Little Women?
Yeah, Greta Gerwig is quickly become those directors that direct movies that otherwise I would stay clear of. Like, yeah, Barbie, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not really my thing. Oh, it's a good movie. Oh, okay. Little Women, yeah, I'm sort of along the lines of Piers' thing. I'm not a huge fan of like costume dramas. Yeah, it tends to be, yeah, quite a good movie. And then obviously Narnia, I wouldn't be interested otherwise, but Greta Gerwig, I'm like, okay, got my attention. Um, but yeah, like I enjoyed this a lot. It's interesting seeing like Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan. To me, they're kind of similar. They both come out at the same time, but yeah, similar ages, and I don't know. Sometimes I get them both confused. But yeah, no, this movie is really good. Yeah, it should be on this list. And yeah, I don't have much more to say other than yeah, absolutely.
That Little Woman's going to make the list. We've got 3 spots left. Wolf, we're going to go back to you.
Ooh, man, we are flying through this. 3 spots left. So the next one I'm gonna bring up. Sure. I might as well get this big one out of the way since no one else has mentioned this yet, and I know somebody else on this panel. At least I could be wrong, but I think somebody else on this panel doesn't like this film. Could be wrong, but we'll see if I am wrong. But talking about movies where Florence Pugh doesn't have a huge role, but she definitely makes an impact, I'm going to say Dune Part 2 for my pick, because this is a sci-fi masterpiece. This is just epic in scale and in scope, and this feels like on the level of filmmaking as like a Return of the King of this generation. Where we like while your old boomers had Empire Strikes Back, and then the millennials had Lord of the Rings. There's now this Dune trilogy. So each of those 3 trilogies have been like represented different forms of youth, and this is just representing like the modern youth, and just it's their epic kind of film to a film experience, a film event to witness now. And yeah, this is really great, and I'm excited for Dune Messiah to see what they do with that. They've set up the like, yeah, this is not over. There's still a lot left to tell in the story, so I'm really excited to see where they go with it. But I thought Florence Pugh did an exceptional job in the role that she played, and the whole cast was excellent, and you know, yeah, it was just all around incredible movie. So, uh, Dune Part 2.
Richie, what do you say about Dune Part 2?
Yeah, while our screen time is limited, I feel like we're saying this a lot, and I'm going to say it again soon. Because she makes the most of her minutes. Yeah, but I feel like her role is very significant. I think she sort of almost a narrative to explain the current events going on. Yeah, and I think she portrays that internal conflict of like being loyal to her father and like kind of not trying to betray her own moral compass. And yeah, I suspect she'll probably have a bigger role in the third in yeah the next chapter here. But yeah, I think while it's yeah like it's not as significant. I think her role, while it's short in minutes, I think it is significant and it is important, and you'll see that going forward with the Messiah. So I'm gonna say, and she's really good. So I'm gonna say yes.
Look, I don't hate Dune Part 2. I like it, but not enough as much as other people. um, Look, I think it's just perfectly fine. It's a complicated story that I'm never going to get into, which is why I'm not going to try and read the books. I've seen the movies, and if the movies are confusing, the books are probably going to be more so. um,
Sure.
um, but yeah, but with this specifically, this ended up at number 12. So I would have said I'm still going to say yes to it. I like, because I do think Florence Pugh is good in the movie, and yeah, but yeah, I'm probably not going to go back to Dune often. I may go back to it again down the line to see if what my opinions change on it, but it's not something I'm going to watch it regularly. But it's still going to make this list. Richie, we go back to you. What is your next nomination?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go because I don't know how many people have seen it, but it's a pretty good movie if you have to check it out. I'm going to go her performance in Outlaw King. Uh, it's Chris Pine. She portrays the wife of Robert the Bruce, which is Chris Pine. Well, Chris Pine, and yeah, like she's yeah, like she's like this. I don't know. I think she's also like the godfather of King Edward. And I think the way she sort of she's very the way she portrays it is like, very sort of stoic, but very very but yeah, while being sort of like kind of shy, she's also very stoic and very assertive and kind of this symbol of like strength and resilience, and yet you believe even though like it is an arranged marriage, you believe you kind of you come to believe that the chemistry between her and Chris Pine, and yeah, like I again, sort of the theme of this um, ranking is that she's not in it a lot, but like she maximizes her minutes, and like you definitely don't forget her presence. So I'll go Outlaw King and see where that goes.
Yeah, this is one that I did watch for this because with it being a Netflix movie, when it came out, I was like, oh yeah, well, I'll watch that at some stage. Then forgot about it instantly and just until I needed to watch it. Um, but yeah, I like King enough. It's there's another Netflix movie I like a little bit more, so I'm gonna give a slight no to Outlaw King. But if it makes this, I'm not gonna be too upset. But Wolf, what do you say about Outlaw King?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the other Netflix movie because I like that other Netflix movie more than this one. I think that this might be my first no because I felt like this was I while the performances are all exceptional, every single performance was amazing. I will say that I felt the overall film felt a little disjointed. It had like pacing issues for me, and I thought that it was a little like too long. Like you could have trimmed it down and such, and made it feel a little uh, even more smoother. I just yeah, I thought it was okay. So it wasn't one that and I think as a show, I get that we do have movies that have shorter Florence Pugh roles, but those were also iconic films. This one I don't think holds the same kind of iconic status to that. The other films that I have on the list are more Florence Pugh showcases. They're like she's front and center of those movies. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a slight no this time.
So unfortunately, Outlaw King is not going to make the list. And brings it to me. I'm going to try this one. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if other people have seen it, but I'm bringing up the movie that I did actually reference before, the Wonder. Um, it was a 2022 Netflix movie. It's about this English nurse that is sent to a rural Irish village to observe a young fasting girl who is apparently able to survive without eating. And it's one of those ones where it's a largely Irish cast, and like very little people you'd know. Like I think the only two like known people that appear in the movie is Toby Jones and Kieran Hydes, both who are in Harry Potter. But yeah, but the movie itself, I do think it was a really good movie. It Funny enough, it may not be up Richie's alley because it is a period piece. But it's also a facet like the story itself is fascinating as well. I think it's a really good movie. So see how this goes, and I don't know how it's gonna go. What do you say about The Wonder?
It may not be up Richie's alley, but it is up Wolfman's alley because I'm also, along with you, Richie, a period piece kind of, or along with you, Malcolm, a period piece kind of guy that loves a really good period piece when done right. And so The Wonder was definitely done right. A an amazing movie from a very underrated director, Sebastian Lelio, who did that movie Disobedience with Rachel Wise uh, and Rachel McAdams, and then A Fantastic Woman. Uh, he did, and he also did Gloria Bell. So he's done a few underrated little gems here, and The Wonder is also one that's very underrated gem with a really more subdued but fantastic performance from Florence Pugh. And yeah, the costuming here, the production, the cinematography, the craftsmanship behind this film is really great. I also really love the score a lot in this one. I thought all the cast. Tom Burke was really good in here. Kieran Hines was a nice little addition to it. So yeah, I was really impressed with The Wonder. So it gets a yes from me. This smaller kind of gem of a film.
But Richie, have you seen The Wonder?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I went. Am I here? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look. I haven't seen it, but not to actively avoid like period pieces. I think I just it hasn't. I just yeah. I just haven't been around to it. But yeah, like I probably will watch it. It's not on Netflix. The other Netflix one I thought you were gonna bring up. Because I like that one too. But yeah, look, cool. No, I'll check it out now. But yeah, I haven't seen it. So yeah.
But with that, The Wonder is going to make the list. And got one spot left. Wolf, what are you going to bring out?
All right, I know Richie hasn't seen it, but let's get another period piece in there, Malcolm, and that one is the one that introduced me to Florence Pugh. This is the very first role. Oh no, not the very first role. It was Malevolent. That was the very first role. This is what made me notice Florence Pugh for the first time, though. I was like, "Whoa, who is this?" Because of how good a performance was, and this was the first time you got to see her boobs, and that is Lady Macbeth, which was a really great film from 2016. Says Royal England, 1865. Catherine, suffocated by her loveless marriage to a bitter man and restrained by his father's tyranny, unleashes an irresistible force within her, so powerful that she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. And it's really well written. It's a fantastic film about mind games, about just power, about um, so much other really great themes thrown in there. And on top of Florence Pugh, the rest of the cast is great too, like Naomi Ackie, Cosmo Jarvis. Um, there's and so on and so forth. Like, yeah, this is the costuming is great. The production work is great here. This is one that definitely surprised me a lot. So, Lady Macbeth, I feel, is really good because a lot of not to say cinephiles because that makes it sound pretentious. I'm not trying to sound pretentious, but a lot of people like that. You know, this was where they discovered Florence Pugh. So I definitely feel like it's one to bring up.
Richie, what do you say about Lady Macbeth?
I say Wolfman was right. Haven't seen it.
Yeah, I have seen it. It's been a while since I have seen it. I remember liking it enough. It's pretty tough because I do have a couple that are higher, but one, I don't know if people really like that much, and two, is one that I don't think people have seen. So I'll give a slight yes to Lady Macbeth. Because I do remember liking it enough. So yeah, Lady Macbeth is going to make the list, and it's going to close off the list as well. Richie, did you have any honorable mentions?
The only other one that I was going to bring up was Malevolent, which is the other Netflix one that I thought you were talking about. But it's a decent horror film, for Netflix at least. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we covered most things as far as I can tell. Yeah, there's not like there's not other things I couldn't sort of bring up. And Netflix, uh, so yeah, I mean Black Widow, I guess she's not in it that much, but yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, I guess just Malevolent, but that's about it.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. For me, like Black, I think Black Widow is probably going to be the one. Some people might be surprised didn't make it in, just because even though she's not in it a lot, people probably thought because it's a bigger movie that she's in, it might have come up, just slipped in there. I will say I do like Black Widow a lot. I just didn't bring it up because I know some people just don't like the movie as well. So and the other one that I was referencing is her first movie she was ever in, called The Falling, which I finally got around to watch, and basically um this is like young Florence Pugh as well. It's like you got Florence Pugh, Maisie Williams, and it's like that they all suffer from this random like fainting illness and stuff at the school, and Florence Pugh is only in it a little bit, because but she's like, for a first performance, she's still really good in it. And yeah, I think we've covered everything. Wolf, anything you want to mention?
So I know for the list we stuck primarily to movies, but there was two series that she did that were like limited series that I'll just throw some love out there too, which was Hawkeye. I don't think was bad. I think that was actually a fun limited series that she did, and then also the Little Drummer Girl, which is from Park Chan Wook. That was one that was a was it I forget, like I think it was on AMC or something like that. But I forget what station it was on, but it was a limited series as well. And then also uh, the actual movie I wanted to give a shout out to was King Lear, which was one with Anthony Hopkins. It was a TV movie that she did, and it was actually really, really good. And I would shout out The Commuter, but I don't remember her in that at all.
Yeah, I was like, I can't remember. I just remember Liam Neeson and Vera Farmiga, and
Yeah,
yeah,
like it was definitely a decent but it's a decent movie, so I'll still throw it out there and give it some love. But I just don't remember a single scene
Yeah,
with her in it. So if y'all remember, guys, let me know in the comments what her scenes were, because I don't remember. So yeah.
yeah. The only other movie I probably would have at least mentioned is maybe The Boy and the Heron. Was like, she is in it technically, but it's one of those tricky ones where
it's like
she's
Christian
only
Bale's in it. It's like
yeah.
it's in the dub.
Yeah.
Although funny enough, I think it might have made our Robin Pattinson. So we just
Probably, yeah.
But anyway, it's time to sort of rank these. Just to recap what we've got on the list. We've got Free Living Time, we've got Thunderbolts, we've got Don't Worry Darling, we've got Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, we've got Fight in My Family, we've got Midsummer, we've got A Good Person, we've got Oppenheimer, we've got Little Women, Dune Part 2, The Wonder, and Lady Macbeth. Now it's time to rank these.
Get back here, Wolf.
He's probably
I'm grabbing a pen. I didn't come prepared. I'm sorry.
but But I'll go to you first. What movie do you have? What do you have at 14?
I'll go Lady Macbeth just because I haven't seen it. It's the least like what one I'm least likely to go watch.
Yeah.
Finally, like 2 pins weren't working. This is stupid. All right.
For me, I've also got Lady Macbeth at 12. Wolf, what do you have at 12? You can just say something if you
Okay.
want.
I was gonna say The Wonder at 12. I did really like the film, but yeah, I was gonna have that one at 12. So, but yeah,
Lady Macbeth is going to be at 12. That. Almost grabbed the wrong pen for my whiteboard. But for number 11, I'm going Puss in Boots Last Wish. Wolf, what do you have for 11?
I have Don't Worry, Darling.
Richie.
I was hoping you'd stay with The Wonder because I was going to say The Wonder.
Oh,
Which means we got a three-way tie. So I'm going to bring up a reel. And there's someone in the. No, I think there is someone in the chat. And Brian got Brian in the chat who said The Wonder.
I wonder. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna bring it up and then I forgot that Don't Worry, Darling was on the list for a split second. I was like, oh, I like The Wonder slightly better than Don't Worry, Darling. So
yeah. Some of my buttons are being annoying, so I've typed out the numbers like that for this.
The kid from Stranger Things, The Wonder.
the kid from Stranger Things dash The Wonder.
Why did I erase my board? I'm sticking with Puss in Boots Last Wish. Wolf.
I'm sticking with Don't Worry, Darling.
Richie.
Don't Worry, Darling.
I won't. Thank you, Richie.
Don't Worry, Darling is going to be at 10. Wolf, what do you have for 9?
I have at 9 something that all of us are, which is a good person.
Richie, what do you have for 9?
I prefer to refer to myself as a good acre person. Get it? That's fine. But yeah, I've got a good person as well.
I'm sticking with Puss in Boots Last Wish, but a good person is going to be at 9. Richie, what do you have for 8?
I'm cool for putting Puss in Boots in.
I'm sticking with Puss in Boots Last Wish. Wolf.
It's a long title, so I'll just say it. We Live in Time is what I was going to say.
But Puss in Boots Last Wish is going to be at 8. But for 7, I'm going Dune Part 2. Wolf, what do you have for 7?
Now I can say it with the actual title written. We Live in Time.
Yeah. And Richie, what do you have for 7?
Yeah, We Live in Time.
Wolf, what do you have for 6?
Oh, is that what you had too for Malcolm?
What?
Is that also what you had at number 7? I'm just curious.
No.
I also had put We Live in Time. So
Yeah. Richard said,
Oh, okay.
You scared me. You made me think I did something wrong.
No. I just didn't hear your pick for whatever. Whenever.
Oh no. Oh, I went Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But Wolf, what do you have for 6?
Yeah, my number 6. Just because it's recent, I'll go Thunderbolts.
Richie.
I'm gonna do Part 2 here.
Wow.
Yeah, stick with Dune Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I'm just basing on screen time.
Screen time? Yeah.
Just to recap what we've got left, we've got Thunderbolts, Fighting with My Family, Little Woman, and Oppenheimer. A bit more tough than I thought. But Richie, what do you have at 5?
5. I'll go Thunderbolts here.
All right, Fighting with My Family. Wolf.
We're the Thunderbolts! Asterix. Yeah. I even drew the asterisks. You can really see it, but
Richie, what do you have for 4?
You know what? I go Oppenheimer here.
Stick with Fighting with My Family. Wolf.
actually, Richie, you changed my mind. I'm gonna scribble out what I was about to write, and I'm gonna say, because I understand where you're coming from based on screen time. So based on screen time, I'll go Oppenheimer.
That Oppenheimer is going to be at number 4, and which means her top 3 movies is all her 2019 movies. We've got Fighting with My Family, Midsummer, and Little Woman.
She had a great 2019.
Oh, I mean, I don't disagree. I just funny how this worked. But Richie, what do you have for number 3?
Fighting with My Family.
Fighting with My Family, and Wolf.
Something I do all the time, fighting with my family.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to vote for number 1 as opposed to number 2, and it's between Midsummer and Little Woman. Wolf, what do you have for number 1?
My number 1 is Midsommar.
Richie, what do you have for number 1?
Midsommar.
And Midsommar. So Midsummar's going to be number 1, Little Woman's going to be number 2.
Nice.
I know I don't need to do that, but just in case people think that Florence, you can actually time travel and go into the 90s. Um, but with that, our top shelf Florence Pugh movies at number 12, we've got Lady Macbeth. At 11, we've got The Wonder. At 10, we've got Don't Worry, Darling. At 9, we've got A Good Person. At 8, we've got Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. At 7, we've got We Live in Time. At 6, we've got Dune Part 2. At 5, we've got Thunderbolts. At 4, we got Oppenheimer. At 3, we've got Fighting with My Family. At 2, we've got Little Women. And number 1 is Midsommar. So that is our list for this week. Next week, we'll be back on Sunday and we'll be doing top 12 Dennis Quaid movies. So it should be a fun list. And yeah, but Wolf, we can be on you online.
Speaking of Dennis Quaid, have any of y'all started watching Happy Face or Paramount Plus series that has Dennis Quaid in it?
No,
I don't know what it is.
He gives a Jack Torrance level of like goofy. It's great, but he is like very goofy in that show. it's I love it. So if y'all want to see a really goofy Dennis Quaid, check out Happy Face. It's really funny. But where you all can find me is, speaking of TV, I will be probably either, I don't know about tonight, but either tonight or tomorrow, I'll be doing my
You there?
I don't know. I think Wolfman froze. Earlier tonight, we'll find him somewhere. But
Yeah.
Well, wait to see if he comes back. Richie, we can be on you online.
Yeah, hopefully I don't freeze. You can find me, Tournament Fights, tier rank, Wheel of Movies. Not this week, but not this coming week, but next week. The next one we're doing is Avengers Endgame, so that should be a big one. And then Lonely Marks, we'll be talking Backlash, and Jacob wants to do a little wrestling Jeopardy game, so check that out. Yeah, I'm also in the ASAP Wrestling with Trivia tournament. He's made it to round 2, and he'll be taking on the winner of Paul Mead and Topher Lavelle when that goes down. So look out for that. And yeah, and so all the other trivia spaces as well. While we love horror occasionally, multiplex occasionally. And all the other spaces. Yeah.
And you can find me on Tape Productions hosting ranking every week. Next week is Top 12 Dennis Quaid movies. Over on my own personal channel, Malcolm's Mid-Earth Media, I host Spare from the Past. And you can and I'll be taking the Rayback Machine all the way to 2021. Where we're going to talk Backlash 2021.
You know, it's a Thunderdome. Are you watching a Thunderdome, baby?
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't realize what Backlash was, but it was the Army of the Dead match too, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh God! Oh, Jesus!
It is that
Terrible,
match.
man.
But yeah, but you can also find me popping up here and there on tournament fights and that, and yeah, about that. Wolfman hasn't popped back, so
He messaged saying there was a storm that he's got a storm in his place. Yeah.
All good. But that that is the end of Rankum. So going to go out. I don't think I've got Florence Pugh clips. I'm just going to go out on this one.
You know, we're living in a society